conflab earlier, and we heard this noise from over the road. So, being nosy bitches, we went and had a look, and I've brought someone back to tell us all about it. So please welcome Sandra.
How's the level? Can you hear me?
You might have to turn it up just a little bit.
How's this?
Yep.
Better? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm from the New Zealand Animal Save movement, in particular Wanganui Animal Save, and I am part of the action today to ban live export of our animals overseas. There are around 11 other centres who are participating in the action today. Nau mai, haere mai, tēnā koutou. I'd like to give you a little background. New Zealand has been exporting live animals for decades, but an incident occurred in 2003 that saw it officially banned. During the years 90 to 99, largely because of the involvement of a Saudi Arabian sheikh who wanted live sheep for slaughter for religious purposes and who was investing in New Zealand, many more shipments of our animals were taking place. In 2003, and I think many of you will remember it,
Yep.
the Cormo Express shipping 60,000 of our sheep was refused entry into Saudi Arabia because of quarantine concerns. For 2 months, the ship went from port to port to try and gain entry without success. During those 2 months, the animals were inside and many died of heat stroke, starvation, and related reasons. Finally, they were offered to the poor North African nation of Eritrea for meat, and makeshift slaughterhouses were sort of popped up in order to kill the sheep, and in a country where there are no animal welfare standards at all. There was a public outcry about this, and at the time Helen Clark was the Prime Minister, and she moved to suspend live export. Again, the wealthy Saudi Arabian sheikh who had invested in New Zealand and was behind the increase in shipments started threatening the trade deal with New Zealand. And so lawyers got together and found a loophole. This loophole was, yes, we can continue to export our animals, but it will be for breeding purposes and not for slaughter.
Yeah.
It took another tragedy and public outcry to put in place the current bill which seeks to ban live export from New Zealand in 2023. The incident I'm referring to took place in September 2020. The Gulf Livestock One capsized in rough seas, carrying 6,000, nearly 6,000 cows, many of them with babies in their womb. They were bound for China to be used in the breeding industry. The Gulf Livestock One had 43 crew members. 41 did not survive. And that included 2 New Zealanders
That's right, I
and 2
remember this.
Australians. The remainder were all Filipinos. Every one of the nearly 6,000 cows died a horrible death by drowning. As a result, in September 2021, the government announced that all live export, including for breeding, would be banned, with a 2-year wind-down period.
That's right.
They should have said wind-up period, because even more animals are now being exported, mainly cows to China. Friends, our animals suffer terribly on these journeys. They have a diet solely of processed food, which can cause digestive problems. They stand in overcrowded pens in their own shit. They suffer from the vagaries of the weather. Hot in summer, cold in winter. When the seas are rough, they're thrown against steel railings and become bruised and fracture their bones. Many get their heads stuck in the railings and have to be euthanized. Some die of natural causes, the rest are put down by the ship's vets. It is 3 weeks of sheer misery. Like us, they suffer seasickness. Like us, they suffer stress and mind-numbing boredom. Misery piled upon misery. At the moment, it's rather a critical time. The Select Committee is considering the government's bill to ban live export, but it's come to a halt. Not everyone can agree. But as a leading New Zealand government veterinarian says, there's simply too much evidence to suggest that serious welfare compromise happens too consistently, and we should ban live export.
Yep.
Friends, please help us to show that the government and the New Zealand public, show our government that the New Zealand public will not tolerate such cruelty towards our gentle cows, which is also damaging New Zealand's animal welfare reputation overseas. We have some leaflets over the road, and they include a QI code that you can scan. We can give you information if you want to email the government. But whatever you decide to do as lovers of freedom, I hope you also can begin to raise your voices for the animals who cannot do it for themselves. He aroha whakato, he aroha tuta mai. When kindness is sowed, kindness is reaped. Thank you.
Thank you very much.